What's up, guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Team Member Perspective Podcast Training Show. We are on part 6 of 7 of our Sales Culture series. How can we build a culture in our agencies around sales? That's what this series has been all about. I'm very excited for this episode. We have a special guest, Brandy Tripp, out of Michigan, that is joining us today, and we are going to be diving deep into part 6 of 7 of this series, which is that your agency needs to have a system to onboard new team members to sell. Your agency needs to have some way, some system that they can, plug these new team members into that will help them start selling quickly. So that's what this one's all going to be about. But Brandy, super
Hi.
excited to have you.
Thanks for having me. I'm so excited.
Yeah. Guys, Brandy's so awesome. Brandy's actually has kind of a unique position on this topic. Brandy, tell them a little bit what we've been working on over here over the last couple of months.
Yeah, I would love to. So we started, training program for onboarding new sales team members. Within their first 30 days, we just want to get them actually up and able to make actionable steps to do their job every day and feel confident doing it instead of just kind of coming in and waiting for the phone to ring or for waiting for something to do. And it's been so fun. It's been so fun and so great.
It's been so cool to see Brandy. I mean, we started in April. We had like a little cohort of about 10, 11, 12 team members, something like
Yeah,
that.
12 in April. Yep.
And that was our first crack at it. And we had team members selling all lines after the first 30 days, which was awesome.
So fun to see them do well. Yeah. And they're
And then
still doing well too.
they're still doing well. And we're going to talk about like what can change for your agency, for your team by having some sort of structure to get your team members up and selling. Because it's big, right? And I think first and foremost, Brandy, I think, if we can have an agency that hires a new team member and can plug them into some sort of system that gets them actually selling, let's talk a little bit about how that almost shapes their overall experience with their role in the agency. So I think there's something there.
Yeah. 100%. I agree.
It's like we're setting the tone, right? Like here is if we can get team members up and selling quickly, like all lines, we're not just talking auto and fire. There's a lot of team members out there that can get going in auto and fire because it's really kind of just a quoting game, in my opinion. But being able to sell life and health products, like think about if you could hire, people listening to this, if you could hire a team member and in their first month, they could submit 4 life insurance applications and 4 health policies, what would that do for them? And if we think about like
Yes.
that month, yeah, they're going to make some commission, but at least that's the hope. Agents, hopefully that you're compensating for that. If you want them to sell that, you got to compensate them for it. But like think about if they could get wins that early in financial services. What would that do for them month 2? Month
Set them
3?
up for success. Yeah. And they'll
Set
want
them
to
up.
stay.
That's right.
They'll want to stay. And I feel like I see this happen so many times with team members where they're hired in, the agent's not prepared to bring them in. They're just, hiring out of need. And then they lose any sort of momentum within that first 30 days because there's been no direction and they haven't had a single win. And so that doesn't make them want to do the job. So that's the goal is to shift it, get your team member selling and get them to stay. That's really the goal.
Yeah, and I think every agent listening to this, every team member listening to this can agree that there's a pain point in hiring and training and onboarding new team members.
Oh yeah.
And it happens so much. And there's a pain point in getting a team member that can basically run their own day and be at a point where they can be somewhat self-sufficient, but also produce. Like that can be hard. And so like when I was a team member, like I had many, many coworkers, right? And that's just the nature of this business, but there is a pain point there. But if we really think about if we were that team member that's getting hired into an agency and there's no structure, there's no structured system that will teach them people skills, how to talk to people on the phone. We'll get to that in a minute.
Yeah.
How to talk to people in a customer service manner, how to understand sales and persuasion and learn the nuances of the insurance world and sales. Like if there's not that structure, we're basically like, why would we expect our team to produce at a high level when they
Mhm.
haven't been given the structure or been taught how to do it?
Absolutely. I
What
think,
about,
and I think a lot of people lose great team members so quickly because of that reason.
yeah,
You
and
know,
it's
it,
and it's a simple fix with the right system
mhm.
and with the right things being taught to them, right? And I think about that a lot because like if I'm a new team member and I'm hired into an agency and there's not structure and I've never had a sales job in my life, I don't really even know how to talk to people, which inside
Mhm.
look into Coulter's life before I got into sales or anything, like that was me,
Yeah.
right? If I get into an agency, I'm not really taught how to talk to people, like as simple as that might sound, and how to like actually execute a compelling sales conversation. And if I'm not provided kind of a structure of how to do that consistently, I can see myself not being very happy with my role because I'm not making good
Mhm.
money or I'm not
Yeah.
making the money I could be making. And so I think that that would cause me to be looking at, the grass is greener on the other side. It would cause me to want to do
Mhm.
that. And I probably wouldn't stick in that role, let alone tap into the abundance of opportunity that there is in that role.
Oh, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more.
So it,
But,
it, it really sets the tone. But Brandy, let's
uh-huh.
kind of, I didn't even have you introduce yourself much.
Yes.
But kind of give us a background of how long you've been in this business, kind of what your role is in your current agency, and kind of a little bit about yourself.
Yeah. So, again, my name's Brandy. I work out of Clarkston, Michigan. So I have been doing insurance for 8 years, going on, this will be my eighth. And I absolutely love it. Did not start that way. Definitely learned to love it over time. I really kind of came into the role as hybrid. I was doing everything. I had no idea what I was doing. Fresh out of college, I just was pretending to know what I was doing, and then kind of just developed a really like knack for having a good conversation with people. And then it kind of flew from there. And now I'm, our office manager, and I do 90% of our sales as well. So, and when I say office manager, it's really tailored to sales and not the kind of manager that's like, you need to make sure you keep doing what I say and how I say it. And right now, like, I'm not micromanaging anybody. I'm helping them develop and get better and learn. And I love it. It's been so fun. And every year it gets easier and you sell more. So, and now I'm training, doing this onboarding class. So that's where we're at now. It's awesome.
Yeah. No, and I think your unique past of, getting the agency
Mhm.
as that hybrid role, maybe not having the results that you had initially, but kind of going
Uh-huh.
through that and then learning and kind of picking up on things and now being in more of a manager role and still leading from the front and still crushing it, but also helping develop new team members. I mean, you've been doing that for a while. And so I think that unique past has been so fun to see you with these new team members, with our new 30-day onboard to sell boot camp for brand new team members to get them up and selling quickly. It's been really cool to see how it's stuff that like there's no wonder you've been successful. There's no wonder that you've had team members in your office absolutely crush it and start
Yeah.
producing well because you're now helping these other team members that are plugged in to do that. So let's
Mhm.
talk a little bit about
Yeah.
the cohorts that we've had so far. So we
Mhm.
started in April, like I had mentioned, we had about 12 team members. We then went to June or May. I think we had north of 20 or so,
22. Yep, 22.
22. And then
Mhm.
we're in June right now, and we've got right about the same. So
Yeah.
you've been around in the last 3 months, you've been around 50 plus brand new team members.
Mhm.
Talk to us a little bit about kind of what you're seeing and what you're hearing and what you're feeling with these brand new team members that you're working with.
Yeah. So they're very nervous, it feels like right on day one. They don't have any sort of direction to how they start their day or even just a good excited mindset of where this can take them in the future. And I just love to drill that into them. Like, this is an amazing opportunity. Like, your agent's investing in your growth and you could make a lot of money doing this. And honestly, you could just help a lot of people. And I don't know if everyone always thinks of it like that when they just accept the job. And they don't know really how to start their day or what even counts as like a productive good day. Like what is winning the day, right? We talk about that a lot. And I think that the biggest thing they're all struggling with is they really are not taught the simple conversation piece at all. It's just very transactional. They're nervous, so they're not listening. They're just talking to sell. They're not talking to listen and, provide a solution to a problem they have. So once I kind of narrowed it down to that they just really don't know how to approach this with the mindset and how to talk to people, and that we need to solve that first, everything else flows after. But that's really what I noticed out the gate.
Yeah, no, and for those of you that have been listening to this series, the first episode was how culture is something that's caught, it's not taught. And if we think about this, I shared an example in that episode. If you hire a new team member, that team member, the moment they walk into your office, like what are they seeing? Like what are they hearing? What's the vibe of the agency? Now, the sad truth is that a lot of them are seeing, a lot of not much happening. There's not a lot of productivity happening. People aren't banging the phones. They're kind of sitting around. And that culture is being picked up right away that, I feel like when these new team members get into the agency, if there's not an intention to really set the standard, to really set that culture,
Yeah.
they're going to feel and exactly how Brandy's talking about this is that like they don't know what to do to win the day because it's never been laid out for them. But they also are picking up on the culture. It's like let's say that even if you onboard them in a way and you're like, this is the activity that I expect you to do every day to win the day. If your culture is not mirroring that, it's very easy for them to not do it.
Yeah.
And again, this is like the very first experience that they've had with your agency with this role, that this is how it's kind of shaping their future with your agency. A lot of team members will not know what to do to win the day. And so they don't get quick wins because they're not putting in that activity. They're not being productive with their day. And so they don't end up selling. And now you can kind of see how that compounds and spirals, right?
Oh, yeah.
But
I'll tell you this story because this is crazy. It's a good example. We had a team member start very unexpectedly. They actually wanted to start almost a week early. And so we said, okay, well, the computer, there was an issue where I guess it had been closed down for too many days. And they showed up. We ended up sending them home early because they didn't have a computer. And that team member, this is a while ago, no one recent, asked to leave every single day early that first week because I let her go early the first day. And it's just like little things like that that just set the standard for how they think that they can move around the agency moving forward. I will never do that again, never make that mistake again. But I mean, everyone needs to be on their A game to bring it that first, really 30 days to make sure that that person feels like everyone's investing in them. We're ready to teach them, get them on board, and that this is a place they want to work. And I don't think that happens a lot.
no, it does. I mean, if it did, there would probably be less turnover.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I think that's the main reason for turnover.
And
That you're
like,
not going to wake up one day and just decide you're going to love selling insurance on
right.
your own, right? You have to kind of learn to love it and get there with the people around you. And I just don't think people sometimes even want to be bothered with new team members, and it's really sad.
It totally is. But, the reason that I don't know, like, I want to help team members make a lot of freaking money.
Me too.
Like, I'm truthfully, like, that is my goal because I saw how it changed my life.
Hmm.
But what I see far too often is exactly what you're saying is we just don't really see that happening a lot. And so for me, in my sales philosophy, people are always like, how do you overcome objections? My first question is, well, let's look upstream and figure out how to prevent them from coming in.
Right. Yes.
Same thing with culture and onboarding a team member. Why isn't my team selling? I would encourage everybody to look upstream. What is your onboarding process look like? What are the systems? What are the structures? What are you doing within the first 30 days of hiring them, 30 days to 3 months, whatever it is? What are you doing to set them up to win? When you hire a new team member, do they know if we call them up and we said, hey, how do you win the day? Could they tell us how to win the day? And Brandy, what are we realizing?
No,
The most
not at
don't.
all. Not at all.
The most don't. And guys, it could be as simple as this. I mentioned this earlier in a sales culture series, but we talk about the 55550. Okay, we break it down a little bit more for our brand new team members to the 330. But Brandy, why don't you explain what that is and how that has been helping team members that are
Yes.
brand new to this?
So this helps team members a ton, but it also helps management and the agent too, because then they know what really is happening every day and where to train off of. So that's the main reason I love it. But basically, the 33330 is an expectation that every day, if you hit these goals, that counts as a win. So, in sales, you're not always going to walk out with a bunch on the board. You've got to prospect and put that time into it. It's not always putting policies on the board. And it can feel defeating. Like you didn't do anything all day. So we came up with the 33330, which is, 3 sales, or are we doing or and? Hang on, pause.
No, you're good. You're good.
Because I'm
So
getting, I keep getting confused by
two,
that. It's 3 sales or,
so I've taken out the cells, and this is
oh, you
cool to
did?
even go in there. So got like 3 cells, 3 household quotes, 3 pivots to financial services, right?
Yeah.
But I have since, like the sales piece of this is something that there's an element of control that us team members have in sales, but rates and if people are going to decide to do it and different things like that, like
Well,
they don't really have
yeah.
control of that, right? But
Yeah, but then if you did 3 sales, sorry, I know that we're recording
no,
right
you're
now.
good, you're good, you're
But
good.
like the way that I kind of like this was if I sold 5 policies that day and then I'm getting told like, why didn't you quote anyone? I'm like, well, I've been writing policies all day.
Yeah,
So that
sure.
was my win.
Yep. No, and I think that's still good. I honestly,
So,
I
so
like the way of
three,
thinking about it. Maybe it's like the quadruple 330 to where it's 3 cells or 3 household quotes and 3 pivots to financial services and 3 asks for referrals or 30 phone calls.
okay, yes, okay. Okay,
So
cool. All right,
for
let's
everybody
restart.
listening
Can
to
you
this,
ask me
like
that question again?
here's the thing. But here's what I like about this, Brandy, is like this was something that I used as a team member
Yeah.
that gave me a mental map of what I needed to do every day, that if I did this every day and all of this is in my control every day, then I'd hit my goals.
Mm-hmm.
But that was something that Coulter used. You see, Brandy and I, we still do it a little bit differently, right?
Same but
And,
different.
it's okay, right? But the point is, guys, is make it your own.
Mm-hmm.
For these team members coming into these onboarding programs with Brandy, we're very clear on like this is how you win the day. It all starts with your activity. And if you don't do anything today, in my
Right.
opinion, if you don't do anything today and you don't sell, like let's say you don't sell any policies, if you got 3 household quotes in, plus 3 conversations around financial services, plus 3 asks for referrals, I personally feel that you won the day. Because if you do that consistently for a year, go and do the math. Think about an average closing ratio for P&C of 20%. Go and do the math. Think about an average closing ratio for life insurance, for health insurance of 20, 30%, and
Mm-hmm.
just see what the compounding does of that, right? The whole idea with this, Brandy, and correct me if I'm wrong, is to
Mm-hmm.
help team members understand what to do so that they are now setting themselves up to win every single day with the right behaviors and activity in place.
Yes, 100%. The activity is not there and you're complaining about your paycheck. Well, I don't know what to tell you. You,
So true.
you have to make the calls. And, then as an agent or a team member, manager, whoever is going to be having that meeting with the new team member to keep track of how they're progressing, you're able to look at their numbers and be like, okay, you're not selling anything, but you're making like 500 calls and you've quoted like 100 people. That now we know is a skill issue. So then to go in, look at the conversation, find where the disconnect is, and help them improve it. But without having, an expectation and actually keeping track of what your team is doing, I mean, then you're just kind of guessing that of how they're doing sitting at their desk all day. I mean, we know that most of these team members aren't getting checked up on regularly, right? Like, I just think that it gives them something to, for one, tangibly show their agent, like, hey, I'm working hard. I'm really trying to get to where I want to be. And it just helps you leave the office not feeling defeated because you didn't sell anything that day. And I love this. I love it. And I think you can keep building constantly on it.
It is so true. And I love
Yeah.
what you pointed out about as someone in a leadership position.
Hmm.
Because again, manager, like leadership, like if you're in that type of position, the idea is you're in there for a reason to help develop these people, right?
Yeah.
But sadly, most team members in most agencies aren't hitting their production goals because they aren't doing the work on a daily, consistent basis. And
Hmm.
so, how are they supposed to know what work to do if they don't know how to win the day? As
Right.
simple as that might be sound, but when you know that Coulter, as a new team member, Brandy, is hitting his triple 330, but he's not closing policies, that gives you information to be able
Yeah.
to then help coach to Coulter.
Yeah, I probably didn't coach him well enough the first time, and that's, I gotta redo it and make sure that, I'm better too, which is
Sure.
another issue. I don't think agents usually like to take accountability that maybe they're not training in the best way, or maybe their technique just doesn't work anymore and they need
Well,
to reamp it.
and here's the other nuance of this whole thing. Every single agent that I get on the phone with, and every agent listening to this, I would guarantee you this is the conversation going on in your minds because I've heard it from
Hmm.
hundreds, if not thousands of you. And it's, well, I'm telling them all this stuff, and it's like my team doesn't really listen to me. It's like my team needs a different voice. They need to hear it from somebody else.
Hmm.
And there's so much truth to that it's like parenting. And I talk about this a lot. Like I've got a 5-year-old, Griff. Brandy, I know you got some dogs. Sometimes they don't
Yeah,
listen, okay?
those
But
count. Those count.
they man's best friend, right?
Oh.
But my 5-year-old, Griff, right? So I'm sitting in our kitchen, cut up some peppers, had some nice ranch, and I'm eating them. And Griff walks down, and I'm like, dude, come try this. Like, I think you're gonna like this, Griff. Like, these are good. Like, I love this. And he looked at me. He's like, no, Dad, that's gross. I'm not gonna do that. And I'm like, Griff, come on. And I'm trying to sell this guy on eating these darn peppers because I know he will like it. And his mom doesn't eat vegetables, so like someone's got
Oh,
to. Okay.
Lacey.
Oh, that is the raw truth right there. Okay, I ain't afraid even if she sees this. Okay, but peppers. Okay, so I'm eating them. He's like, there's no way. Okay, and so I'm like, whatever, dude. Like, you don't know what you're missing out on.
Mhm.
And I go throughout my day. Well, a couple days later, he comes home from preschool. He tells mom to buy peppers and ranch. Why? Well, because Miss Erica cut up peppers and he tried them there and he loves them. And so she got peppers for him and he loves peppers now. But think about that. Like that is what all of you agents are describing to me is happening
Mhm.
in your agency. And which is why this whole team member perspective concept works on
Mhm.
such a unique level
Yeah.
because team members come into this, whether it's our weekly Wednesday and Friday meetings, it's our onboard to sell program that Brandy is running. And they come into this program and it's like there's this instant connection that us team members have with them that the agent may never have, unfortunately. Right.
Yeah.
And there's nothing that no one's like, the agents are probably saying a lot of the same stuff that I'm saying and that you're saying, Brandy, to these team members, but there's that nuance as well that
Yes.
get your people around people that they will connect with, that they will relate with. Because I'm telling you, you get team members around someone that intimidates them or any excuse in their brain, because they could be like, oh, well, you're the agent. I'm just the team member. Oh, well, your office is in such a big city. We're in a rural area. Any
Yeah.
excuse that they will have, they will absolutely run with it. And that will become a belief that they form around this whole
Mhm.
thing.
100%. And I think it does kind of say something to the fact that, like, the agent really should be working on the business, not necessarily so in the business on a day to day. Once they get to a certain point, I think that's kind of where most would like to go. And when a new team member comes in, or even a seasoned team member that maybe is just the agent's just trying to coach maybe a new process too. I have seen so many people be like, well, why are you trying to teach me this? Like, you don't practice this every day. I'm the one actually doing it every single day. And they get that defense up and they're like annoyed by the agent for bringing some new coaching in if it's them that's actually giving the coaching. And I get that. And then, they set us up with, team members to teach them, and it's a whole different. They're excited, they're like ready to learn, they're asking the good questions. But I do understand how like when an agent's like, you need to be doing it this way, and then tries to teach it to them. Well, like when's the last time you tried that out?
Yes. And
Because I haven't seen you sell a policy in a year. So
yeah. Well, and this is no knack at anybody. It's just what we're seeing is
yeah.
it is what it is. It's what I'm hearing. It's what we're experiencing. And Brandy, I think like we're so blessed. Brandy and I are so grateful that we can help team members in that way. And
Hmm.
here's the thing is there's nothing that agents are doing wrong. It's that's just how their brains are going because it's like, well, when's the last time you sat in the seat? Now, I will say, in my experience being a team member, there was a lot of training that I got that I loved as far as strategy goes because I'm like, that is such
Yeah.
a good strategy.
Hmm.
My issue was how do I get there from home and auto? How and like what do I say to pivot? And what if
Right.
they give me an objection? And some of the advice that I was given by some people in agent seats when I was selling it was like, well, if you want to, you just got to ask more questions. And it's like, okay, thank you, but what
What
questions?
questions? Yeah.
Very vague, but it's like I could tell they didn't really know how to answer that because they'd never really been in the seat. Now, here's the difference
Mhm.
is it's again, I'm very detailed in the way that I think through, you know, what people think, like we're talking customers and prospects, what customers and prospects think about the agency owner. Like if my name's on the building, do you believe that these customers coming in to meet with me, or if I get to talk to them on the phone, or if I'm quoting a new household, don't you feel that because my name's on the building, there's this automatic credibility that I get with people?
Yes, I do.
I
100%.
I think there is.
I do.
Now,
Yeah.
I'm not saying that us team members we can't get there because we
No.
can, and
Yes, we
you
can.
get
We
there.
can.
We can, but we
Yes.
don't get there in the same way.
Of course. Yep.
And those nuances were the things that I desperately wanted to know that I started to learn and pick up from other top producing team members that
Hmm.
allowed me to execute on these higher level strategies. It's those small details and those small nuances that we as team members deal with that you really wouldn't understand them to the level that we do
Yeah.
if you weren't in the seat.
Hmm.
Which,
Yeah.
Brandy, I think it puts us in such a
Yeah.
cool position to help in such a beautiful way
Hmm.
and help agents, maybe take this off of their plate. And that all they need
Hmm.
to do is hire more team members. And guess what? We have a system now where you can plug them in, and in 30 days, they're going to know how to execute a raw new auto conversation in a way that's compelling, in a way that's around value and not just around price, and
Hmm.
in a way where they can multi-line financial services. They're going to learn how to pivot and take advantage of these everyday service calls and tasks and create sales opportunities from those. They're
Hmm.
going to learn how to manage their pipeline and learn certain sales skills that will allow them to be compelling. And they're going to learn and have the expectations from the beginning. This is how you can win in this thing. And this, you make a commission check. And so the opportunity is limitless, right? We have a beautiful way to help team members in that way and such a unique standpoint because I've been in the seat and you're in the seat. I think there's so much power to that.
Hmm. There is. I don't think I would have stayed in this job very long if I wouldn't have started to surround myself with other strong team members. Because when I first started, I was not with the agency that I'm with now, but the team members that were hired in when it was kind of scary. Like I was right out of college and I was ready to go. I was so excited, and it just felt like everyone did not want to be there. It was like an episode of The Office, but not funny. And I was so scared. And people kind of didn't end up working out there. But then I met, a couple other team members that were in the surrounding areas, and we started doing events together and hearing their experience and how much money they made and how much they liked it and how they were helping people. That's what kept me here. But you've got to make sure that you're surrounding your team members with other strong team members that are putting the work in and are excited to be here. And I think that's so important.
Well, think about outside of like them learning skills and learning systems and structures, just think about the environment.
Hmm. Yeah.
I believe that we're products of our own environments.
Hmm.
I'm very
Yeah.
intentional with who I surround myself with and who I'm around and what I'm listening to, what my environment is, because I know how much it affects me up here.
Hmm.
And I know that up here, that's the game. Everything between my ears is what is allowing me to do and accomplish things that I set out to do. But if I'm around an environment where it doesn't really help me in that way, I, probably won't have the results that I'm looking for, the
Hmm.
experience I'm looking for. But when I'm around people, like as a team member, when I'm around top producing team members, it's an environment that helps me stay motivated. I don't even like the word motivated, but stay in a mindset where I'm going to keep pushing. I'm recharged. I'm ready to rock
Stay
and roll.
hungry. Yep.
Stay hungry. Yeah, exactly. But it's also challenging me because I see what Brandy can do in production. And when I see and hear that, I'm like, oh, there's no way. Like I'm going after Brandy now.
Hmm.
And that
Yeah.
type of
Friendly little
environment
competition. Never hurt
is
anyone.
so awesome
Yep.
as a team member.
It is. It is. Yeah.
Brandy, can I read an agent review
I would love
from
you to.
Onboard to
Yes.
Sell? This is right on our social media, guys. Go check it out on Instagram. I think it's on Facebook too. It might even be on TikTok. I don't know. My assistant's got it all figured out. Okay, but
Shout out to Haley.
this is an agent. That's right. Go shout out Hallie. You
Mhm.
crush it. I hope you see this. Okay. So, agent review from Brandy's Onboard to Sell 30-day boot camp. This is an agent out of Colorado. He said, the experience with my first team member through the program was outstanding, and it gave me the confidence to add another team member to work with Brandy. Her dedication, expertise, and positive energy have been instrumental in driving progress and fostering growth within the team. I'm determined to get back on top, and I'm thrilled to be leveraging TMP to help me achieve my goals. With the right tools, guidance, and the amazing support of Brandy and the program, Onboard to Sell, I feel empowered to take things to the next level. Thank you for all the support and encouragement along the way. Together, I know we can make great things happen.
Oh,
Just
that was
so
so nice.
that was really cool. And Brandy, I
It's,
know
yeah.
you had in the last cohort, you had a team member in Michigan.
Hmm.
He like how many financial services did the guy
Oh
write
my
in
gosh, she's
his
crushing
first month?
it. Well, the one day, I mean, it was, I think the day of the final class, he had written like 16 policies that day. And I'm just like, oh my goodness. And he's like messaging me like all these wins he's having. There was another girl though who she sold, I think it was, I want to say seven. It might have been eight though, life that month. And I was just like, you are gonna go so far here because you should never stop learning in insurance. And if you have picked up this many skills within I mean, week to week, that's crazy. You're gonna do great. So it's been really fun to see them actually go and apply it. I mean,
Well,
it's the best thing ever. It's the best thing I've ever done.
it literally is so cool. And like this is just the beginning for that team member that wrote, let's say, 7 life apps
Yeah.
in the
Oh
first
my
month.
gosh.
Just think about like how is she viewing her role in the agency now?
A
How
lot
is she
different.
viewing her potential
Yeah,
and
a lot
the
different.
amount of income that she could make and opportunity she could create for herself here
Hmm.
versus a
Yeah.
team member that gets plugged in and they don't even start selling for a couple
Mhm.
months.
Yeah.
That's a big deal.
Yeah, it's crazy. And I think a lot of I had a couple one-on-ones with people throughout these cohorts that just want to talk a little bit more one-on-one about their struggles or things that they might want to say openly to everybody. And it's become just like very noticeable that when they kind of were hired in, they just got really excited that they were getting hired into a job and they don't even really know how far this can take them. And I'm like, wow, I wish agents would sit team members down, show them exactly how much they needed to sell to hit exactly what salary they wanted to make, and show them like, hey, this is a team member that I had working here that made this much by the end of, year two, three, four. I think being transparent about your salaries, I think that's okay. But I think it helps motivate people. I think it helps show like, hey, if you keep to it and you work hard and you're nice to people and you keep a positive attitude and you never stop learning, you'll make a lot of money. You just have to work hard. It just takes a little time.
So true.
Hmm.
But with the right structure and system in place to onboard them to sell, who says they can't sell 7 life apps in their first month. We've seen it happen.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm like, think about 7 apps consistently every month times 12 is 84. I mean, you
Sure.
just hit your travel app goal for the year from one new team member.
Yeah. That was more
Crazy.
life than anyone else in the office had sold in this entire year combined.
Think about what that's going to do to their culture now.
E- Well, they might not like her anymore.
They may not like her
Just kidding.
anymore, but we get those like
I'm
that.
just kidding. If a team member does not like another team member because they're outperforming them, then that's the cancer you got to cut
There's
out.
there's 2 ways that team members are going to take it, and I think the agent and the managers
Yeah.
have a lot of influence into how it's being
Oh my gosh.
taken.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
like think about it this way. Like if I have a new team member come in and outsell me, that will light a fire under me
I
so
yeah.
fast.
I love it. There was one month where I was selling, and I don't even this actually like a newer team member. He was just killing it in life. And I was, getting competitive. I had to make sure, I really beat him by a lot. But I was so happy. I don't think I've ever been happier seeing his numbers just get higher and higher and higher. And I mean, that's a win for me. That's a
Yeah.
win for me. And I mean, I think that sharing like all the things that I've learned. I mean, you were a huge component to that too. Like, I mean, I started listening to this podcast. That's how I even met you, which is crazy that I'm here right now. But you need to surround yourself with people that want you to win and that want the agency to win. It's not an individual sport here.
It's not. And sadly, even you and I in the few cohorts we've had some kind of surprises with certain agencies and culture and the way that new team members are getting treated.
Yep. Oh
And
my
that's
gosh, yeah.
it's so sad.
Bullying, basically, yeah.
It's so sad, but it's most agents don't really know that this is happening. But because I feel like that team member was in our group for that time, I feel like they got the support to kind of work through that and still
Hmm.
almost treat it like this opportunity where she could, come in and absolutely maybe change the agency.
Yes, and we did actually have a call with me and the whole sales team together. A little, kumbaya, it's all going to be good. We're all trying to reach the same goal. How can we restructure this office so that everyone's getting along and everyone's helping each other? Because if you got to work together in sales, you do. If I'm on vacation, I would really love it that, somebody on my team would help me close some policies when I was gone. And I'd
Yeah.
love someone to bounce ideas back off of. It doesn't need to be a fight. I think that once you start seeing that nastiness come out, it's insecurities because they don't, maybe they're not as secure about their sales abilities. But you gotta just look at it like if you continue to do things the way you've always done, you're gonna get the same results. And you shouldn't be scared of someone else coming into your agency and adding value ever.
But let's think about this though. So this team member is in our onboard to sell with Brandy.
Yep.
Because of this, I believe that the agency's culture will change
Yes, it has
forever
already.
because of this one team member.
Hmm. Yeah, I've
So,
seen it change. I just did a call with him last week.
how cool is that?
It's
And so
so
there's
nice.
so many ripple effects that we've been seeing with this 30-day program with Brandy, outside of just like get your brand new hire up and selling. When you get your new hire up and selling, it changes the culture of your agency.
Yes.
And I want to empower these team members. Like, I want you guys to go in there to your agencies. You're brand new. You have a chip on your shoulder where you are going to work the hardest and you are going to eventually outproduce everybody in that office. That is
Hmm.
the frame. That is the tone that we're setting with these team members in this onboard to sell group, because Brandy and I have both been in the seat. I was in the seat. Brandy's in the seat. And we know that this stuff can happen because we've done it many, many times. We're very consistent and we have frameworks, processes, structures, mindsets,
Yeah.
word tracks, talk paths, objection handling. We have all of this, which we're teaching so that these team members can go and replicate what we've done. And it
Hmm.
has been the most fulfilling thing in the world.
It's so fun. I've never loved doing anything more, honestly.
But Brandy, I want you to
It's
think
so
about that.
awesome.
Like literally like one team member being involved with you for 30 days, now a full agency. And who knows how many more lives are being protected
I
because of
know.
this.
I
Because of one
know.
team member.
I know. And I feel like I've worked so hard and to get good at this. I mean, I didn't just decide one day insurance was going to be my thing, you know? And I just really wanted something to be my own, and I liked helping people. And then once I got to work with team members, I just love working with people, and I love showing them like this is an important thing we're doing here. We're making insurance cool, okay? And I think that really enjoying your job and being there and being excited to sell, it makes the customer want to buy from you.
So
And I don't want
true.
to go to work every day and be miserable and just cold call people and be boring and, no, I want to get to know my customers, develop relationships, get to know my team. Like, I don't know. I think everyone just has kind of a interesting, not everyone, but a lot of times the perspective is just like, this is boring. Like, customers are always mad, rates are going up and blah, blah, blah. And I'm just going to come at 9, clock out at 5 and complain the whole time I'm there. You're going to be miserable your entire life if you do that. So,
No, it's so true. Brandy, this has been so good. And
yeah, we should
everybody,
do this more often. I've
we're gonna
always wanted to be
we're
a
gonna have to.
podcaster.
We are absolutely gonna do this more often. It just feels nice to have somebody that we can chat. It's like-minded. But guys, it has been so fun for me to be able to have Brandy delivering in that way, the way that she is for these team members, and speaking belief into them, but then teaching them like how to execute and how to win the day. Like it's so important. And we're so happy with this Onboard to Sell program. In fact, we have our next enrollment, which is July 1st, and we've got a few people that have reserved seats. We like to keep these a little bit
Tighten it.
more tight knit, more intimate, just because we can have more of an impact. And so we do limit seats. For those agents listening to this, if you have a new team member that you're hiring, sales managers, team members listening to this, if you're bringing on a new team member, we know, Brandy and I know how exhausting that can be, okay? Like they're asking you millions of questions. It's hard to have the mental capacity to maintain what you're doing, run your business, keep up
Mhm.
with your sales while trying to teach this new person how to be successful in this industry. That's for a lot of that is a big reason why it just doesn't really get done.
Yeah.
And so let us take that load off of your plate. I hear Al Shattuck and Dave Peterson and all these agents that are running 3 agencies. They're always Randy Thompson, all these guys, they talk about how you should always be hiring, always be looking for your next hire. And I want to take that a little bit further, that have some sort of system that you can plug these new hires into that will help them get up to selling quickly.
Yep.
I'm telling you, it can absolutely change the trajectory of that team member's overall experience with you, their overall production, their, overall, experience with being a team member in your agency. And that compounded has the ability to take your agency, take your life, everything to a completely different level. And that is what Brandy and I are committed to do, is
Hmm.
to be able to have you offload that to us, throw them in in this Onboard to Sell program, and we will get them up and selling quickly. We will set the tone so that they can be someone in your agency that contributes in a big way and
Hmm.
change the culture forever.
Yes. And I have to add one more thing because you are also incredible. And I don't think you always give yourself enough credit for how many people you've helped here. I, I mean, you're always talking about, how I'm great or ever, your other coaches are great or your team members are great, but I mean, it is incredible what you've done, that you've created this community of people that can come together and build each other up, learn more. I mean, I would definitely not be where I'm at right now if it wasn't for you and what I've learned from you. And I just want to say thank you because it's a program, I was part of your program before we started this. So there's unbiased opinion here. Like you're changing people's careers and agencies. And I just don't think that people thank you enough for that. So thank you.
You're very kind, Brandy. I feel like I need to hear that. So thank you. That's the thing, guys, is like whatever you're doing, whether you're grinding it out as a team member in the agency, whether you're in an office manager role, you're an agent, you're running a business, whatever you're doing, like, I think it can be tough. I think it can be really tough. And sometimes you put in all this work and sometimes it's just not going well. Other times it's going better than you could ever have thought.
Mm-hmm.
And so keep showing up.
Don't let the hard days win.
That's right. That's right. Keep showing up, on the days when things are going really well. This is always in my mind, is like pile on, because it's going to end. Everything's temporary. But, if things aren't going how you want them to, and you feel like you're kind of in a slump, just keep showing up. Things will change. It's not permanent. And, Brandy, thank you so much. That is very kind of you. But guys, that's what we do. That is our whole goal, is to help you, help your teams in any way that we can. We're seeing a lot of really fun things happen. So July 1st, Brandy, we've got another one we're rolling out, and we do this every single month.
And different time zones too. We're good with every time zone. Usually we've kind of figured out how to work that out. So
Yep. It's been, we've got this really, we're dialing this in, but every single month on the first of the month, we will start a new cohort. It's very limited. We want to make it to where we can really, really help these team members that are brand new get off to selling quickly. And so if you're hiring a team member, you're like, okay, I might not have one until the middle of July. Know that we'll have one August 1st, September 1st, but they do fill up quickly. Like, it's been, that's one thing that I will say is, like, I spend most of my day marketing, because that for me is the bottleneck for my business, is marketing, getting more people to know about my stuff, and training and studying. But I spend a lot of time marketing. This has filled every single cohort with very limited marketing. Like, we're talking maybe one or two Facebook group posts.
Yeah. And now that word of mouth spreading around, they're really filling up fast. So we'll see you there, guys.
We'll see you there.
I am excited.
Yes, guys, I'm telling you, get your team members around Brandy. She has the ability to change their overall experience, change their income, and honestly, I'm going to say it, change your agency. So Onboard to Sell, TMP, ran by Brandy Tripp. I mean, it's changing agencies. So Brandy, thank you so much for joining us today. We're going to have to do this again. I already know the feedback I'm going to get. They're going to be like, oh my gosh, like, we loved having Brandy. We loved hearing that. And so we're going to do it again. But guys, I'm telling you, you got a new team member, hiring a new team member. Remember this, reach out, get more information at least. And heck, maybe reserve a seat for your new team member. So, Brandy,
it's a beautiful day to sell insurance, Coulter.
There we go. Say that one more time.
Said it's a beautiful day to sell insurance. Go out there, work hard for the people that you love, your family, your team, your agency, and let's have some fun.
Let's do it. Thank you, Brandy.
Bye, Coulter.